Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Spilling the Beans. This week I'm actually up at my mountain house in Western North Carolina with a whole bunch of our 3-year veteran legacy family members. It means a lot that somebody would commit to something. I think there's a lot of value that comes in committing to something for at least 36 months, right? There's a season of planting seeds in year 1, of cultivating those seeds in year 2, and then being able to harvest in year 3 and beyond. And so in an effort to incentivize, reward, and appreciate people for being in our mastermind for 3 years or longer, this is the first, we've only been in business for 3 years, right? So this is the first retreat that we've had so far. I wanted to make sure that we invite the veteran members out and be able to spend some time together and talk about business at a different level, right? It's not the same entry-level problems maybe when they first got started. It's a different, more mature, more advanced problems that everybody's facing now. Building the team out, scaling, setting it up to exit. They've had a lot of success and are looking to now scale even further. And it's been very interesting to see how the conversations have changed. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be releasing Spill the Beans episodes with sit-downs with our members at the Legacy Lodge in Franklin, North Carolina. So today I'm sitting down with Dan Costantino, who's an absolute rock star out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and came into Legacy Family. I think he had 60, 80 rental units at the time. I think he's over 800 right now. So he's built a team. He's taken over property management in-house. He's scaled his business substantially. He's got some big wins that are in the pipeline in his business. And I'm excited to hear a little bit more about some of the big takeaways and key factors that have changed his trajectory and what those pivotal moments have been in his business. So let's go sit down with Dan. Dan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, appreciate you having me.
Welcome, man. So welcome to Western North Carolina. I'm excited we've had a pretty amazing 2 days, been able to hang out and,
yes.
Obviously we talk about a lot of business stuff, but really the connections and be able to hang out and play poker and play pool and go on the hikes and all the other fun stuff that we're now building some memories together and deepening relationships even further with everybody, which is really powerful. So what I'd like to do is do like a powerhouse 15 minutes on a little bit of your backstory, and then some of those pivotal moments that have really changed the trajectory of your business.
Sure.
And talk about, hey, I wish I would have known this at the beginning. I wish I would have done this a little bit differently. But we'll dive into that in a moment. First, share a little bit about how you became an entrepreneur and how you became a real estate investor.
Sure. I was a career salesperson. I was in sales for 17 years at the end of the day, right? I side hustled real estate for 5 years, but never thought about owning a rental property or an investment property in the least.
When you say side hustle, wholesaling and flipping?
No, when I say side hustled, I had my full-time sales job.
Right.
And then I started buying flips and rentals and things like that. Right. So it was just, I would do it during the workday and after the workday. And it's fun to talk about because my boss at the time when I started side hustling real estate is now my chief operating officer.
Wow.
So
how things come full cycle, huh?
Yeah. And he was my first private lender as well. His hand was shaking as he was handing me a $60,000 check.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So it's come full circle, but side hustle real estate, never thought about it. Went to a success conference. Colin Powell was there, Zig Ziglar's son.
I remember that. It was like $2 a ticket, right?
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And
Did they come to Pittsburgh? Or
yeah, they went to the old Civic Arena.
I was the one in Cleveland.
Yeah, and they talked about the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I listened to it. That was a very pivotal point in my life, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And so after 17 years working in the corporate world, side hustled real estate for a few years, what was the point in which you felt confident enough leaving the full-time job in order to do real estate full-time?
Well, confident is a weird word because I knew I could have done it beforehand, but I had such good income as a salesperson, it was tough to leave that behind because I had a wife and 2 kids and a good life, right?
Yep.
So it was almost tougher for me to break free from that corporate chain, if you will. But at the end of the day, the last year that I worked a full-time job was, became a director of sales for someone, and it was the first job I had ever failed at because I was cheating on my passion, which was real estate, and I was cheating on my job, right? Because every moment I got, every free moment I got, lunch, I would go talk to contractors or talk about deals, and I just didn't feel good with myself. So I had 30 units at the time, had some flips going on, and it just wasn't working. My wife had a stable job I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that hit rock bottom. Like we
Right.
had a good life, and I didn't want to lose that.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, she put a lot of confidence in me and said, "Hey, I'll support you either way." I got a couple really good flips lined up at the end of the year, and I was like, I gotta do it. So
That's awesome.
hired a couple contractor employees. One of them still with me. Employee number one still with me, and had the flips lined up, and that gave me the confidence because I knew I could make up most of my salary just with those 2 flips. So there was not much risk.
That's great, man. I mean, that's a great way of looking at it, right? You're not looking at it from an emotional standpoint of, I hate this job, or I want to pursue this because I really like this. It was almost like a math equation for you. It's like, hey, I know that I have these couple things set up. I know I can make X number of dollars. If I leave my job and these 2 deals take me 6 or 12 months, I can make just as much as I would make 12 months over here. And it's an easy conversation. Worst case scenario, after 12 months, I go back to that job or find another job that I know that I can make equal amount of money on. So,
but having
it's never as much of a risk as I think we make it up to be in our heads.
Yeah, I think so. And I could have quit earlier, but I don't ever hate myself for waiting as long as I did because I had the financial capacity to do what I wanted. I had a great home equity line of credit to start with. I started to generate good flip like I was still getting paid good money, and I was still having some success in the real estate world, more than most people that do it full time.
Right.
So it was pretty cool, but I don't regret any of that. But when I quit, there's no way I imagine having as many units as I have now. And I do no flips now.
And so fast forward, how many doors do you have today?
I own about 630.
630?
Yeah, we manage more than that.
And then you do some management with some
just a
partners
business
on some
partner.
things?
We both collectively own the management company, so we self-manage. I'm not a broker, so we just self-manage.
So you own 630, and then he owns a couple hundred, right?
Yep.
And then you guys manage all of them together in the management company. Got it. And so, when you went from owning a couple of doors or flipping houses to then, how long has it been since that happened to today, where you own over 600 doors?
That was at the end of 2018. So 2019 was my first full year.
5 years.
Yep.
So we're talking 5 years, 60 months. How does somebody who's watching this go from a full-time job with a little bit of background in real estate, maybe they're a realtor, maybe they're a contractor, maybe they flip houses or they wholesale houses. How do they go from that and know within 60 months they can get to 600 doors, right? Like did you get 100 per year? Did it escalate and start compounding? And what were some of those pivotal resources, hires, knowledge pieces that you needed or that somebody would need in order to go from 0 doors to 600 doors in 60 months?
There's a lot to that, and you know that.
Yeah. If you had to boil it down and you were like, oh man, I can only give 2 or 3 points of advice to somebody, these are probably the couple of dominoes that are really pivotal that'll knock down all the other ones and people can fill in the blanks.
The big thing was get in the right rooms with the people that are doing it. I mean, there's no question or secret to why I'm here, right? With you guys at Legacy Family. Commercial Empire was that was where I really got clarity in what I wanted to do, right? I just saw the numbers and I'm like, these are the same things I'm doing on the small multifamily, like the 2, 3, 4 unit, 5 unit, 10 units. And I went from 30 to 50 to 80, and my goal was to get over 100 units. I got over into 100 units in 2021 in May or June, and then I bought a 305 unit portfolio, which I worked on for 6 months.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. So I went over 400 units. So I went from 81 units to over 400 in that year, and then I bought a 258 unit the next year. And then we've sold some off this year just to stay liquid with the debt market the way it is.
Yeah.
But the masterminds, the right masterminds, it's super important to be around people that will. You guys are so generous with your boardroom calls. I can literally learn anything about what you guys do on a tactical and detailed level. You guys share everything, including numbers that most companies wouldn't. Having access to that information has helped me feel confident enough to step into a world that maybe I don't have the direct experience with.
Right.
So that's a big thing.
And I think you're going to get the education one way or another. You're going to get the education by getting kicked in the teeth.
And I've gotten that education.
For sure. And by trying to figure it out on your own. But it always takes more time and it always costs more money if you go and try to figure it out on your own versus, listen, there's definitely an investment to getting in those right rooms. And especially when you're talking about multifamily and commercial real estate, which is the next level of assets. it's a higher level and there's more money to be made. But guess what? You can have a substantial return on the investment for what the cost is to be in those rooms. But like the key is you can expedite, right? You have access to more resources faster and sooner, and you know who the good CPAs are and the good attorneys and the good insurance folks, and you don't have to figure that out. You can see who owns thousands and thousands of doors and who are they using. Let me just piggyback on them in order to then expedite the timelines. Like that's the key. So it shortens and abbreviates the timelines. And listen, I'm hard-headed. I went to a bunch of masterminds early on and didn't take advice in some capacities and got kicked in the teeth. I was like, should have done that, right? And then you just learn, but there were so many other connections and introductions and private money and all the access to resources. So getting in the right rooms. When did you join or start plugging into those kinds of events?
So Commercial Empire happened. I think then we got shut down for COVID,
Yeah.
right? And then whenever
Did you come to the one in person?
Yeah, down in Florida.
Tampa?
Yeah,
that was the last one.
yeah. And so that was eye-opening for me, and certainly that's when I said, for 2 years, I said I'm buying apartment complexes 100 units and above. And I did other stuff, but that's all I projected out there. And I tell, we run a mastermind as well, and I said, if you don't define what you're looking for and know what you're looking for, no one else will. And I got a 305 unit and a 258 unit deals, 2 deals, word of mouth.
It's amazing. It's as hokey as sometimes it sounds. It's like when you put it out there into the universe responds. It just like, it comes back and you start telling people, you don't even see the smaller things or the different asset classes. Like, I remember when I was flipping turnkey houses, I was like, we're not doing any deals that we can't make a minimum $5,000 on. Because we were prostitutes. We would take any deal for $400. Like, I'm in. I drive there. It's 45 minutes away, and I drive there 3 times in order to try to cut a deal. And it's like, I made $400. And I think I split it with Carlin, so it was like $200 to me. So, that kind of stuff I think about. And I'm like, we're not doing anything that's not at least $5,000 of profit. And guess what? I never saw another deal that wasn't at least $5,000 of profit.
Yep.
And then I started increasing it and did the same thing with the size units. And if you're very specific, that's the only thing that you'll see, right? It's like getting a new car, driving down the road. You never saw that car before, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere all over the road, right? It's because you're focused on it, and the universe shows that stuff and brings it front of mind to you.
And there's a balance, right? I love to tell people focus is a superpower. If we're focused on multifamily, we're focused on hard money lending. Everything else is noise.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
But you also have to try everything, right? Like the first 5 years when I was side hustling, my growth was very, I look back on it and I tried subject to, I tried, just regular single family houses, flips, rentals, stuff like that. I tried hard money lending. I tried a lot of different things, but that focus wasn't there. So I didn't have that growth that we've had over the past 3 years. But I also don't regret trying all those things because I ultimately settled on multifamily and hard money lending. And I don't know if I could have settled on that and stopped chasing the shiny penny if I didn't try those different things.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have something to compare it to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't know how good.
Like wholesaling
private money
seems sexy
lender.
right now, right?
Right.
But I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's each one is its own business, and understanding where your strengths, where your weaknesses are, what you like, what you don't like, I think is that brings clarity when you've done all those different things. And then once you find something that really resonates with you, like I love the hard money lending. It's money. It's a lot of cash flow. It's a lot of ins and outs, and you can help other people with their business, but also it can feed your holding business, right? And then this one builds some long-term wealth. So you get the fast cash and then the long-term wealth in the real estate holdings.
We've
and
created
they
our
work
own
off of each
ecosystem
other.
that way. Yeah,
Right.
We've created our own ecosystem. That hard money lending side of the business has definitely helped us in quick acquisitions or even when we needed supplemental short-term loans. It's been crucial. So yeah, creating your own ecosystem is huge once you get to scale. Can't always do that.
You control those variables, right? You're removing risk by being able to take control over some of those things that early on you're not really in control of. That's good. So joining the right groups, powerful. What else? What's another like skill set or another key hire? Give me like number one skill set and the number one key hire. I like those two.
Number one skill set is
that somebody should learn.
Learning formulas. You have to know the calculations. I still know investors that don't know what a debt service coverage ratio is, right?
Yeah.
It's a basic You need to know what metrics the banks are looking at to underwrite deals. If you're wholesaling, you need to know what the people in your market are buying for. You need to understand what repair costs are. Like knowing those numbers, this is a numbers game. Knowing as many formulas and metrics as you can learn is just basic stuff. I mean, you can do it. You can make your own spreadsheets, right? Knowing that will make you successful, because really, I don't buy stuff emotionally as much as there's still a little emotion, but I'm less emotional about it. It's all about the numbers. So when realtors send me deals, they could look good, but if it doesn't make sense on my Excel spreadsheet, I don't want to spend any time. I don't want to drive to it. I used to drive, to your point. I would drive to all these places and waste all this time.
Oh, man.
The spreadsheet didn't work to begin with.
I remember those days, right? You spend days and days and days doing due diligence and looking at everything, and then you go and try to negotiate and see how the numbers work. And it's a complete waste of your time. Like I don't even look at a property until I have some sort of basic terms agreed upon with the seller. I will not go out and do anything. Maybe we'll drive around, or I'll send somebody out there to make sure it's not a war zone or something. But otherwise, you're right. It's like early on in business, you want to make deals happen so bad that you get really emotionally tied to doing deals and trying to make deals work. As soon as you remove the emotion and making it a math equation, right, like we were talking about before, removes the emotion. It just makes it numbers on a piece of paper or numbers on a Excel spreadsheet. And if the numbers play out and the box turns green, guess what? We can buy that one. If the box is red, then we don't buy that one. And that's as simple as it needs to be. It doesn't have to be more complex than that. It doesn't have to be more emotional than that. And you say, hey, seller or broker, the numbers don't work for me, but if you could come to this price point, or if we could do this or these terms, then I can make the deal work. And at least you still plant the seed, but then you move on. You can sort faster that way.
And what helps you negotiate stronger and stick to your numbers unemotionally? It's having good deal flow. I've made the worst decisions when I was starved for deals. So if you're not analyzing and making offers every single day, you're going to be too optimistic. You're going to put those rose-colored glasses on, and you're going to make a deal that you're going to regret making.
Whoever needs to make a deal happen typically makes a bad deal.
Correct.
Right? If you're willing to walk away and you're not emotionally attached to anything, you will make a good deal. And by having deal flow, it helps. By having money flow, it helps. By not being in a position where you have to sell or you have to buy, and you're able to walk away from any deal at any time, you typically win negotiations, or you typically make the right deals happen in those circumstances.
And let's face it, over the past 5-6 years, you could screw up and still make money. I think that's gone for at least a year or two.
For the next couple of years, for this next season,
you're going to find out who's actually a good investor.
Yep. And a lot of those people focus on buying deals and raising money and finding deals. They all neglect operations. Operations is so critical. You can buy a deal if you have access to money, but you got to operate in order to keep the deal. You have to be able to operate properly and do it the right way, because that is what can sink something pretty quickly.
100%.
So when you started scaling, what was some of your first hires, or what have been some of your key hires that really helped you hit the next level?
Yeah, the first hires were I needed a couple carpenters to help me do my flips, and then when we started growing the rental portfolio, I hired a property manager, 2 maintenance guys, and an executive assistant was huge. At that point, generalist. I mean, she did bookkeeping. She did everything that I didn't have time to do. So she had to be a generalist. We're trying to get people, when we hire now, we're trying to be more specialist focus, but in the early on stages, it's hard.
Yeah, we're all wearing multiple hats, right? And so everybody's in multiple boxes in the organizational chart. But as you grow, take a couple things over here, and then you have the bookkeeper who does the financial reporting and a couple other things, and this person does more operations and all that. And I think an operations person, especially if you're buying and holding property, is one of the first key hires that you have to make.
Definitely, but it also depends. Like if Carlin was going to start a company, right? He needs someone more on the sales side.
Right.
I'm a salesperson just through and through, right? I love making deals. I love building relationships. Now I love raising money. I love getting returns for my investors and LPs. But so I want operationally strong people. But if I was, I'm good at operations. I'm way better at the relationship building.
Yep.
So I think you have to really look at what your superpowers are and hire for the opposite of that.
I love it. What does the next 12 months look like for you?
Next 12 months is we are going to create millions of dollars of value in our portfolios while we do the value add process to our two big projects.
So
There's
the key
Yes.
here is that you're not growing more unit count, you're increasing the value of your existing portfolio.
We are in a fortunate position to where we do not have to buy new properties to elevate our overall assets under management.
Which is a different way of growing, right? You can grow with your existing portfolio by increasing income and decreasing expenses without having to raise more money, without having to sign out more loans, without having to pay marketing fees or brokers or have to go down that road, transact on more deals. You can look at your existing portfolio and increase the value by doing that.
Yeah, we can grow our net operating income by over 7 figures in an annual basis just by improving these units that need renovated and filling them with great tenants.
It's amazing, man. That's amazing. So super excited for you. One last question. How has your life changed in the past 3 years of being in Legacy Family Mastermind?
No question, mindset, right? We talked about goal setting. Mm-hmm. Goal setting's always been difficult for me because as a salesperson, you're always given a goal. And it's very easy for me to look at that and be like, all right, you're not too big a jerk. Go hit it, right? Yeah. As an individual contributor, it's easy for me to say, this is what I need to do to hit this number. When you're running a company, I have to be a leader. I'm working literally every day on trying to become a better business owner and leader. It's tough for me as a sales guy to create those metrics and goals for my team.
Yep.
And I'm not as strong operationally, so it's tough for me to say, like, I want you to run at 110%. You know what I mean? So now that I have a great COO, I'm excited for that. But so mindset, right? I used to buy duplexes and 4 units. Now we're looking at 100 units and above. Never ever thought I would even buy a duplex, let alone a 100-unit complex. You guys have really helped me just say I can do it, right? Because you get in these rooms and you realize these are regular people just like me.
Right.
They're not that much different, so I can do it. So that belief is huge, and also you guys being go-givers in the way that, number one, you do give back to the community all the time, which is phenomenal, but you are so gracious in giving all the secrets away to really help us, not just sell more stuff, right?
We don't have anything else to sell. Like I don't have anything else.
There's no upsell.
Right? No. All I have is the mastermind. It's the only thing that we make money on. So it
has changed my life. I attribute that stuff to you all the time. I mean,
I appreciate
really
it, man.
appreciate everything you guys have done. Your whole team.
It's amazing because it leads to bringing on good people, right? And then it attracts great people into the Legacy family community, and then it's a positive compound effect, snowball that grows with more good people and more good people, and then everybody has that go-giver mentality, and then everybody wants to support, everybody wants to tag team deals, and it leads to more wealth, right? I truly believe that competition, there's far more collaboration than you could ever create in competition when educating and creating these opportunities and resources for folks. And so
you'll feel that when you're in the right rooms. And
I agree.
This room is phenomenal. From top to bottom, it's been great.
I appreciate you, brother. Well, dude, I'm excited, man, for you.
Thank you, Tim.
I appreciate you being part of the family, and we will see you guys next time on Spilling the Beans. Hey, appreciate you being here on Spill the Beans. We are here every Sunday sharing entrepreneurial information with you about how you can take your business, whether that's a real estate business or traditional business, to the next level. So I appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to our channel. Give me some takeaways, some great takeaways in the comments section below. We'll see you next week on Spilling the Beans.